Welcome to the Grief Bully Podcast. I am your host, J.Nicole. Thank you for joining our weekly discussion around grief, mental health, and your overall personal wellness. The Grief Bully Podcast will serve as a vehicle to help you navigate life's journey. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share the podcast with anyone in your life that you think it will help. Let's bully grief together. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Grief Bully Podcast. I am your host, J.Nicole. Listen, we're doing things a little different today in light of Mother's Day being upon us. I wanted to take this time and I want to dedicate this entire episode to you all, make it more of a special, kind of like a pre-grief. I know what's going on in the world. I'm tuned in. I want to extend the empathy and the kindness to you. So I wanted to dedicate this to you guys. Listen, grief is one of those things that can be so tricky. And although it's ever present and it's always going on in our lives, when we have these holidays and we have these special times a year, it magnifies the experience. It can make the journey difficult. So what I want to do right now is just take a few seconds. I want to ask God to be with me while I speak to you. God, I want to ask you to be with me right now. Enter the atmosphere. Speak through me. I have nothing prepared. I just knew that my heart's desire was to reach out and to speak to all of those people, all of those grieving hearts, all of those heavy hearts, all of those souls and minds that are burdened. I want to dedicate this to them, but I want it to be less of me and more of you, because you, God, are the only one that knows what each and every person under the sound of my voice knows. You know that those are the mourning people, the brokenhearted right now, those whose voices have been silenced and have been captivated because of their pain, because of their sorrow, because of their grief and their agony, and they feel lost, they feel confused, they feel disheartened, and they feel forgotten, God. They feel forgotten, and I know that you have the power to speak through me. I know that every time I speak, it is not me and it is you. And so I'm asking that you show up right now and show off and allow me to use the words and articulate right to that place. To that place that, again, no one knows about what they're going through, to that shame, to the embarrassment, and to the heartache, God. So we're going to pray that you hear everything that I'm saying. And that, again, that these words are manifested and that they make change and they have impact in the lives of everyone that's struggling right now. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen. Let's get into it. So we've got a lot of people right now. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you right now that you are a mother and you lost your child and you don't know how you're getting through. Each and every day is a journey. It's a struggle to overcome. But I want to applaud you, Queen. I really do. I want to take that time to salute you and to remind you how beautifully and wonderfully made and how much strength is inside of you, and that there's so many people like myself that can only imagine how difficult it is on a daily basis. And then so we add this holiday of Mother's Day to it, and it just heightens that experience and it makes things more difficult for you. I want to send you so much love. I want you to be seen. I want you to know that we see you and we know how difficult that can be. And we pray that this day that you're able to get through it and remember that it's just another set of 24 hours of your grief. So I'm not minimizing your grief. I'm not downplaying your pain, but what I'm doing is trying to help you to see that, hey, I've gotten through every single day after the loss of my child, and it might have been hard and it might have been so much pain and devastation, but I made it through. And so I just want to remind you of that. I just want to tell you, look back and see how far God has brought you. See how many late nights he's carried you through, and believe that he can get you through this time again as well. And I don't think it's going to be heightened for just one day. I think it's the days leading up. I think it's that day, and I think it's after, because grief is a journey. But I want to encourage you to lean onto the strength and the realization of everything that you've already been through. You have the power to do it. And let me tell you this too. If for some reason you don't feel that power in that particular day, in that particular moment, that's okay too. That is okay too. I want you to give yourself that space, give yourself that time to just move through it to your own accordance and how you feel. Don't feel bullied. Don't feel pressured to do it any other way. But I do want to tell you, if you have that desire, if you feel like you don't think you can get through it, look back at what you already been through. If you are a bereaved child, if you are a bereaved adult, if you are a bereaved young adult, if you do not have a mother, you lost your mother, she's already transitioned and you've been on this earth walking it without her, I want to speak life into you. I want to speak life into you, and I want you to remember this thing. The tangible aspect of the relationship may have changed, but the intangible is still possible. It is still possible for you to feel your mother's love. But we have to tap into that. We've got to be open to it. And listen, I understand it's not as easy as it may seem. It's not as easy as I'm saying it, but I just want to encourage you to lean into that and to be open to that possibility that you can still channel the love. Maybe you look at old pictures if you're able to do that. Maybe you phone someone in your family and ask to talk about memories of your mother to keep that alive. But I just want to encourage you that if you find yourself in a ditch, just don't stay there. The ditches along the way in the grief journey are inevitable, but the suffering is absolutely optional. And I just want to give you so much hugs, so much love, and embrace you and acknowledge you, and that you can be seen, because I think that, of course, with society and the commercialization of certain holidays, you go in the stores, all you see is Mother's Day this. You're hearing people talk about this and talk about that and their plans. And so the envy and the feelings and the jealousy and the anger, we're going to go there, right? Because some of us are angry. This is the time of year sometimes that we get more and more angry at God as well, because we don't feel like it's fair. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm in that boat. I'm, Lord willing, I still have my mother and I'm blessed too, but I lost my grandmother a few years back, and it's a gaping hole. I look at cards in that aisle and I don't have a grandmother to give a card to. So you might feel the same way, but we got to remember these things are trivial. And in the reality that we were blessed to have their love, and that doesn't stop because their life did. It just transitions into a different form. And so we can lean into that. Well, then that could possibly be beautiful for you. So I wanted to make sure that you were acknowledged and that you were seen and that you can feel loved on this particular day. Those of us mothers who aren't able to have children, maybe you were pregnant and you lost your child, stillbirth, miscarriages, what have you. I want you to be seen because you are a mother, and don't let anyone tell you anything different. I just wanted to encourage you as well to keep your head up, Queen. Keep your head up. Put your shoulders back and remember that. That doesn't change just based on the circumstances. It doesn't change the fact that you are a mother, and I want you to be celebrated, and I want you to feel loved, and I want you to feel seen. And I want you to understand that although society may not publicize or speak as much about your experience, I want you to know that we see you. We see you, and we want to send you love, and we want to be with you along this journey. And we also want to send that love to the spouses of such. And so sometimes they get forgotten as well on these times where it's like, my wife is going through this and et cetera, and lost the child and all that. And it hurt me too. And so it can be hard for you. It can be hard for the support systems of all the people that I've already mentioned to sit back and watch your loved one and watch your person really, really have to mourn and feel so lost and forgotten and angry about that right now. So I'm sending tons of strength out to you as well. Want to make sure that you understand that. There's also parents and mothers whose children are incarcerated and you're not able to celebrate in a certain way. And this is the thing too, I don't know if it's just kind of coming to me, but those fresh wounds right now, and I'm speaking to the mothers who just lost their children right now, I want to encourage you to reach out if you can and find support in a community. There's so many communities. There's so many online resources that we have to be able to tap in, because that's tough. The beginning processes, the crisis part of it. And I'm not saying that for mothers who have been dealing with the loss of their children for many years, that this negates you or your struggle. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is that if you just fresh lost someone, you fresh lost your child, you just fresh lost your mother, the motherly figure in your life, an aunt that might have played that role as well, and then right back to back, you have a holiday as such, like Mother's Day, it can be so devastating. So I want us to, again, keep in mind, if we can just get through right now, one day at a time. And Mother's Day is no different. And so I want to make sure that we highlight in all of these things. And then in general, we focus more so on the relationships that were positive, the relationships that did have that love and it was there. But there's also a whole bunch of people who never had the love of a mother, who don't know what it feels like, who were abandoned, who were neglected, who were mistreated, that this also is a tough time for them as well. So I don't want them to be forgotten. I want you to know that we see you too. And we know that your struggle is worth it. But this is the thing, like I said, the struggle is worth it to acknowledge, but you are worthy. And that's even more worth it to acknowledge. So if you've ever felt abandoned, neglected, and you feel like these generalized statements like a mother's love is this and a mother's love is that, but you've never felt that, I still want you to know that you are worthy, that you are chosen. Oh my goodness, I just want you to know that. I don't want you to feel forgotten, and I don't want a holiday like Mother's Day to make you feel any less than. You were chosen. And I always say this, and I'm going to say it right now for everybody that's listening to this, and wherever, no matter where it applies to you on this whole chain of people that I've covered, I want you to put your hand over your heart. Yeah, you feel that? That's purpose. That's purpose. If you're still alive, you have great purpose within you. And so although your circumstances might make you feel less than and make you feel like you don't, you do. You do. You do. You can do this. And so for all of the people who maybe none of this applies to you, and this has nothing to do with your journey, you are not off the hook. You have a responsibility as well to love on those people in your life that you know are going to be struggling right now. Don't feel afraid to say something to them. If you know something, say something. So if you know factual that someone could be potentially grieving right now, whether they've told you or not, you have a responsibility and an obligation to reach out. I want to challenge you to do that. J.Nicole, I don't know what to say. I don't know what words to say. Well, you don't have to know, but you can just send them a heart text message and say, thinking of you, I love you, praying for you, something along those lines. We don't have to have this whole big speech, but sometimes people just need to know that someone cares and that they're not forgotten. So I'm going to hold you accountable as well as myself, to make sure that we extend that love and we let people know that they are not forgotten and that it's super, super important. And I just think that what I'm going to do right now is actually just go back into praying, because I just feel that. I don't know why. And this is what I'm going to do on my podcast, is I'm going to make sure that we touch into that. And so, God, my words can only go but so far. But your love has the ability to soothe and to mend every broken heart and every scar. God, you have the ability to put the pieces back together. You have the ability to be the umbrella in the inclement weather in their life, God. And so when they feel lost and they feel confused and they forgotten about, you will remind them that you are a plan that you planned about, and that their life has great purpose. And if they can stay steadfast on the journey, it will be worth it. And that their loved ones, their angels, they have one more reason, two more reasons to make them proud. May they continue to push down this path and not give up. And if even just for 1 minute, even if just for 1 minute they have to cry, they can cry those tears, God. They can cry those tears of sorrow, because joy does come in the morning, even though weeping may endure for the night. So the whole point of the message, God, and what I feel that you're leading me to say to each and every one of them, is to just stay on the course. That we might feel overwhelmed and things could feel heightened as far as our grief, but we are bereaved people and we are strong. We are stronger than we probably think that we are. And sometimes we just need that extra push. And so I can only pray that these words are your extra push, and that they touch and that they manifest and that they can just penetrate. I pray that my words can penetrate those dark places. I pray that my words can fill voices in those empty spaces. I pray that my words are the comfort that you didn't feel that you had, but now that you know that you need. I want you to know that God can hear you, even though sometimes you don't know how you can succeed and you feel like your words are just going void and it's not coming back in return. But I'm here to remind you that He'll never leave you nor forsake you. Whew, man. I am feeling on fire right now, and I'm just feeling that I can only pray that this is helping someone, because I just feel this heaviness. I felt the heaviness, but now I'm feeling more of a release, that we're able to just touch and agree like this and have this conversation and have this raw deal. And so again, I can only hope that this is going to help someone, and that collectively as a society, we can do better. And that starts with acknowledging grief. And it starts with acknowledging these moments that when we have these commercialized holidays and we have all of the flowers and the balloons and the commercials and everything, that on the back end of that, while there is joy for a lot of us, and I'm happy that a lot of us are able to still lean into that in the tangible form, let's not forget our bereaved community. And that's all I really want to talk about today. And so I'm truly hoping that this helps somebody. Thank you for allowing me to go here. It's not the normal style of my show, and I'm okay with that, because again, it's not about me. It's less of me, it's more of God, and it's all about you. I just want you to know that you can do it. And sometimes we just need that reminder. It's like, duh, like I feel like I can maybe do it. I know it's going to be a little bit hard, But when I get that reminder, now I'm like, whew, this ain't nothing but another day. I got this. I got this. What would my loved ones want me to do? Because I know they wouldn't want you to hang your head and put your head down and just sulk through it and not be able to do it. Because if you're alive, you couldn't control if they lived or died, but you can control how you live your life before you die. We're going to end it like that. You know what? I'm going to run it back because I think I said that a little bit quickly. You could not control if they lived or died, but you can control how you live your life before you die. So please don't squander this day if you can push through it. But like I said before, I'm not trying to speak out of both sides of my mouth, but I'm just trying to be open to every scenario and every situation. And if you need to have that close the curtains moment, then you just allow yourself to do that for that minute, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. The pain is inevitable, but the suffering is optional. I'm J.Nicole, the Grief Bully. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram where I hang out the most at I_am_J.Nicole, guys. So next time, you already know, love and light. Peace.